the calls by labor unions for some cushioning in these harsh economic times continue to grow. Already, 4 labor unions at the pre-tertiary level are on strike, demanding the payment of 20% of their basic salary as cost of living allowance. The latest to join in the demand is the Union of Professional Nurses and Midwives. The group, in a statement, says it backs the decision of the teacher unions and urged government to address the issue of COLA among public sector workers in order to avert more strikes. Let's go on to Zoom now and speak to John Adbenyevu. He's the PRO of the Union of Professional Nurses and Midwives. Thank you very much for joining us. Now, since when did you start negotiating COLA with government?
Thank you very much, and thank you to your listeners and viewers this evening. And thank you to nurses and midwives across the country. The demand for COLA started sometime in June, where TUC and other organized labor asked that the government cushion the workers across the country with the COLA 20%. We have realized that that call have not been heeded to, and the government have remained silent on it. And we think that there's a need for us to project this voice once again for government to do something about it.
Now, the harsh economic conditions makes it difficult for government to make such payments. Would you agree that the timing is not right for this? Today, for instance, government issued a statement on what the IMF program could possibly entail and how it intends to go about it. Would you say this is the right time to be making such demands?
Yeah, so the hardship we are all experiencing is as a result of the economic issues that we are all talking about. So nurses and midwives are also in the country, and they are human beings, and they demand the best as well. So if we are attributing the call for COLA to a harsh condition or economic situations, it means that then it's the right time to call for that, because we also demand to live well.
Are you going to lay down your tools? And I say this because in your statement, you backed the decision of the teachers to proceed on strike. Is this an indication that very soon you're going to lay down your tools as well?
Yeah, that's a possible line to toe if the government refuses to listen to us. But I'm hopeful that the government will do the right thing, knowing well that the government have the resources to foot this a particular demand. I'm hopeful that the government will do the right thing and will not get to that level where we will have to lay down our tools. It shouldn't be that COLA would bring this back and forth where workers should go on strike because of COLA. COLA have been instituted to help cushion members or workers whenever there's harsh economic situation. And so the demand at this time is not uncalled for. It's the demand in the right direction, and we expect that the government will do the right thing. So a strike will be an extreme decision to take, but when the need be, we are sure that we'll take that line.
Thank you very much. That's John Adbenyevu. He is the Public Relations Officer for the Union of Professional Nurses and Midwives. Meanwhile, the Senior Staff Association of Universities in Ghana has also served notice of a strike if government fails to respond to their demand for COLA and other conditions of service. Let me bring you details of a statement they released just this evening. And you could see right there, intention to embark on an industrial strike action. It says the national leadership of the Senior Staff Association of Universities at its 16th National Executive Council meeting held at the KNUST Kumasi on the 25th of June 2022 concluded, amongst other things, the deteriorating cost of living of its members as a result of the rising cost of fuel prices, goods and services, and the introduction of new taxes, as well as the high inflation rate, which is making the living conditions of its members unbearable. Therefore, the national leadership is joining forces with other sister unions to demand 20% of cost of living allowance, also known as COLA, in order to help cushion the living conditions of members who are wallowing in abject poverty. The leadership has also observed with the greatest of displeasure by the failure of government and management of public universities to implement agreements in our conditions of service, and have also failed to address the underlisted issues of concern. So they talk about failure by public universities management to respect the implementation of the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission's directive on promotion and upgrading of senior staff to senior members' position in public universities. And this contained in a letter dated 24th of December 2021. Also, they talk about government's failure to pay all Tier 2 outstanding interest from 2010 to 2016 to its members according to the express dictate of the National Pensions Act 2008, Act 766. This unfortunate development, they say, has brought untold hardship and depression to its members who are due for retirement, to the extent that some members who retired lost their lives due to the unbearable conditions. It goes on to say that failure by some public university management to regularize the appointment of casual and temporary staff who have worked for 6 years and above, which clearly breaches the Labour Act 2003, that's Act 651. Failure to pay some generic allowances of all senior staff across board as enshrined in our conditions of service, failure of GTEC and the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission to award senior staff support allowances as other associations have been granted and paid through internally generated fund. And the third point is failure by government to act fairly to extend the award of interim market premium to the senior staff cadre. By this, the association is serving notice to government and its agencies concerned to take immediate steps to address these concerns enumerated above or on before the 13th of July 2022. Consequently, failure to address these concerns stipulated will not be countenanced any longer, as the leadership will have no choice but rather advise itself accordingly. And of course, it stated that it will embark on a strike.